Hey friends, welcome to Urania Universe. I am Portia, and if you guys aren't familiar with me, I'm an astrologer and a channel. My life purpose is to serve my community and also work with individuals to connect and help them connect with their higher self or their highest and best self. So that is primarily what I do, and I do this by working with my own guides to connect with their guides because I come from a non-dualistic perspective of that all is one. So, I have an aspect of, I work with this aspect of source. You might work with the same aspect or a different aspect. And with that in mind, I can connect to your guides or connect to your higher self and kind of help people, deal with whatever it is they want to address, or, whether it's they want to be a healer or they have these psychic abilities that they want to maintain and manage in a healthy way. So that is my purpose. And what I want to talk about today is this event that I've been hearing about. So I've been hearing about it from my teacher, and, I've just seen it all over the internet, obviously in metaphysical communities and things of that nature. And it makes a lot of sense for me because I also co-facilitate a women's circle, Lunar Goddess Circle, here in the Colorado, Denver, Boulder area. And we have been preparing for said event since the beginning of this circle. And the circle's been going on for 3 months. But there was a lot of work on releasing and shedding, and the shedding of karma. So I knew that something was happening, and really, in actuality, can you put a time on these things? We created time as creators, as human beings, but in actuality, everything's happening at once. So there is no said specific time, or it's hard to really calculate this. So the overall idea of this event is, according to Mayan cosmology, we as in our solar system is in a particular location, and that's what's happening at this, moment, or more so like in this time frame here, is that the solar system is moving into alignment with the galactic center, our Milky Way galactic center. And what this alignment promotes is an opening of a gateway, an energetic gateway. There's going to be a lot of gravitational pressure here. And with this, we are going to, from our very own sun, we are getting light and frequency to, that will enact or activate DNA. So this is really, and I'm trying to really make this as simple as I can because it is pretty complex and I'm still trying to digest it. But that's essentially where this whole idea stems from. So this particular occurrence only happens every 26,000 years, which is why it's a really big deal. And so we go through these different little phases, and 2012, around that time, that was really the kind of initiator of this shift that we're experiencing. And it's argued that time is, that was the end of a world age. So from a science point of view, because I also have a science background in astronomy and physics. So from a science point of view, we're at this location, there's this alignment, and through that, there's a midpoint there. It's the galactic center. And as you know, with science, even with astrology and things of that, like these points, like these connections, these axes, when things meet up, you have this energy exchange. So this gateway portal, when we're at the galactic center, it is opening a portal to other dimensions. And obviously, we're not going to be able to see it with, our tools. But it is something that's felt on a very micro level. So this gateway or portal is opening up to other dimensions, and it's communicating information to us via obviously light waves. And our planet is communicating information, or our solar system is communicating information to, through this dimension. And it's also debated that beings are coming out from these dimensions, or, like angels or anything to help us. And this is like the same thing, the information, light beings are coming forth. So it's opening this gateway of travel, and to even really add to that, we are in the age of Aquarius. So then the Aquarius is a fixed sign. So when things of this nature happen, it's going to take a little bit more effort to really, change. When gateways open up, say in the Pisces is such a mutable energy. Everything's always changing, that it'll open up and it'll close pretty easily. With this, it's like it opens up, and, it's going to take a minute for that energy to shift again to close that portal. So you have this information coming through to the earth, and this is from, through the sun, the light rays or light. So you have this energy projected to the sun, which is, there have been solar flares. There were solar flares yesterday. There have been solar flares a couple weeks ago, I believe. So that's more of the sciencey, because I had to look into the science part. I'm like, what is there really like a solar storm coming from the sun? What's going on? We have been seeing an increase in, solar activity and solar flares and things of that nature, which is normal, but it could be normal because of these certain occurrences. So this is this said event. Okay. So what information is being sent to us? What does this even mean? And so the information is coming through light in higher wavelengths, higher frequencies. And what it's doing here, it is activating our DNA. So as most people know, our DNA, we have, 3 strands that are active, I believe. And I'm sorry, I am not a biologist or whatever science this is. So, I've been doing my research, and like I said, I'm still trying to digest it as well. But, so we have this considered non-coding DNA, or it could also be looked at as junk DNA. So with this particular DNA, in order to, it's not activated. And this DNA really is, in the metaphysical world, is associated with other dimensions and, our awareness. So, and there has been, I know of one study, and I'm sure there's more out there. And like I said, I'm in the middle of my research, but there is a study of a Russian genealogist who actually tried this on rats, where they communicated light at a higher frequency, which is actually the frequency of love, like 500 and something hertz or something. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. But it sent this light energy through to this rat, and it activated parts of DNA that hadn't been activated before. And they were also able to do this with sound, like with, the voice. So what happens with this DNA activation, this is speculated to activate, clairvoyance, the ability to heal with your mind. It's just tapping in, activating that higher consciousness. And so why this is important from a scientific point of view, or why do we even care that information is being sent here, is because these high frequencies that are sent through light, through the sun to us, is, it's activating this DNA. So we are awakening parts of our consciousness that haven't been awake before. And so this is even happening. It's like people are waking up that weren't even really necessarily wanting to be woke, so to speak. But it's like you see this shift happening, and we've been seeing it happen, and we've been seeing this happen for a while. So this is why I say, as far as like timing, like you can't say, this is happening this week, because I was looking for information about that. I was like, well, okay, when is this, when are we going to be actually at this point, our solar system, at this exact point? It's really hard to tell, because it's like we're already seeing the influences, and really, like even when a planet is retrograde, the most significant moments are before and after, because you're feeling that shift, okay, from being direct to changing its direction, and then from being retrograde and changing its direction back. So, where was I going with this? Okay, so the exact time is, it's irrelevant, but you see this in society nowadays. You see people, changing their diet habits, and that, and they aren't, it's not just like, oh, ugh, meat is gross. It's just kind of like, I just had this feeling that I don't even, I want to eat lighter. I want smoothies every morning instead of having like a breakfast burrito or something like that. And it's not everybody, and this is just an example, but it's just that mind process. Or, so to speak, say you come across someone, say an astrologer or channel, and they're talking about, oh, this is happening, and everyone, they want to take their power back, and a lot of it's is also associated with the government. A lot of people are getting sick and tired of the corruption of the government, so we want to step into our own personal power. And it's hard to go to religious sectors, because religion is, there's some aspect of disempowerment in organized religion. So then where are you going to go? Oh, these freaking psychics, these channels, these energy workers, like they have this mysticism that's like, oh, you can do the same thing too. At least that's where I come from, and that's why I say it's important. My job here is to really help enlighten, or not, I don't want to say enlighten, that sounds weird, but help others connect to their higher self. So this is why I think it's important, because it's like, yeah, I can do a reading for you and be like, oh, you have this, this, and this going on. But I want you to be able to do that for yourself and go within, because really everyone has the answers within. And so this is the whole important point of why the important aspect of DNA activation. So we have 3 strands, and I could be saying this completely wrong. And I will provide also some links below of some articles that I really like addressing this. But so we have already the 3 strands activated, and this is associated with the 3rd dimension. So then, some of us are stuck in the 3rd dimension, and I want to just get into these different aspects here, because I think this is really important. From a mindset to just really grasp these different realities and how you can be in 3 different dimensions at once, and how you can go back and forth. So the 3rd dimension, which is majority of the people, but it is really split like, half and half, like people are waking up. So, we're going back and forth between the 3rd and the 4th. But the 3rd dimension is that dimension of fear. You think politics, certain religions, just that like fear of that feeling of despair, and like, I can't do anything. And like, money is a 3rd dimensional creation. So it's a fear-based reality. Okay. So, then your 4th dimension, which is like I feel like a lot of us are in this dimension, and we might go back between the 4th and the 3rd, or the 4th and the 5th. But the 4th is like that middle plane where you're observing you're observing this reality, and you are kind of removed from it, and you get that, that you can manifest, you can create, but there's still an element of not being able to trust in your higher self or your guides or anything like that. Like you do, and you have that knowingness that you can trust, and you might be tapping into, your spirituality and your personal power, but you're still trying to, you're obviously, this is going to be work to a certain extent. Like the only way to master these things is to keep practicing. So, you might be in this 4th dimension is when you're stepping into that personal power, and you're beginning to learn how to master your power. And so you might dip down into the 3rd dimension at times. You might see the news or, whatever, and you're just having that, like, what am I going to do? Is this really going to work? Does this really mean anything? And then you get into that doubt and you get into that ego and that inner critic, and it's just like, and then there's the other half of you that's, you have that knowingness. Knowingness is so important because it is truth. So then we get to the fifth dimension. The fifth dimension is even more removed from, this 3D reality. Once again, we're all connected. So you're going to experience that from, seeing that reality by observing it. But it doesn't really matter to you anymore. Like, it doesn't affect your day. You are able to really trust in divine power and within yourself. Really, you're able to connect that and really work with your guides to, that that's not reality. That's not truth. The only thing that is true is love. So you have either anything, like, things stem from either love or they stem from fear. So you have these different things going on. So in the fifth dimension, you really focus on love. You have compassion for others. You're able to kind of see things from a non-dualistic perspective, where it's like, okay, yeah, you have this, corrupt man in, like, for the United States, you have this corrupt man in office, White House, and he's running the country. But this is not 100% a bad thing, because, if we had, great leader after great leader at this stage in our development or evolution, we might plateau, and there might be a chance that we'd be stagnant as a collective. But we have this particular individual in the White House to empower, be a catalyst to society, to empower people to wake up and step into their own personal power in order to make change and change the reality. Because this is only, reality because we created that. It is our own creation. And so same thing I want to throw out there about money. I'm such a big advocate for money being a belief system, and money is not even real. And it's the fact that we collectively believe in the idea of money. So then we associate this value to it and this power that literally ruins people's lives. And imagine if everyone, especially, like, imagine just think about the United States. If everyone, say maybe like except 5%, or let's say, okay, we have the 1% to 2% of the higher elite. So say if everyone, 98% of the population was just like, fuck money, this doesn't mean anything, and really was adamant about it and stood in their personal power, that complete institution and that complete belief system would, fall apart. And I feel that, we are moving in that direction, especially with certain things shifting now as far as astrological things, Uranus moving into Taurus in May. That's a big transformative planet. There's going to be some liberation associated with the financial system and personal security. Like, we're going to feel some change with that. And that's Uranus. That's associated with Aquarius, all of that stuff. So this is why it's really important to start tapping into who you are inside, your personal power, your divinity. Like, what can you actually, what do you want to do in this life? You don't want to pay bills and die. No one wants to pay bills and die. And it's really hard to even come to a knowingness and a feeling of trust that you can do anything that you want. Obviously, you could do it if it's bad or if it's good. What is? Are you going to be a catalyst to society to wake people up? Are you going to be the person that brings people together and rebuilds community? Because that's my purpose. I strongly believe in the power of community and personal power, and tapping in and really strengthening your personal power, and then doing that as a collective, doing that with others, really intensifies these intentions and manifestation and change. Okay. So I want to talk about and this, I guess I did really talk about this, the fifth dimension, fifth dimension would be, we also have this association with the innovators or the first adopters, which these are the people that are willing to step out and take a leap of faith. like, this idea has never been, when you think about it, just like think about it in the technology world, like someone has this great idea and they like, people are obviously going to be skeptical because there's nothing to support it, because this is brand new. This is like, something ahead of the time. So these individuals, these innovators or first movers, are the ones that are going to really step out there and quit their job and do something completely different, or, do something just that people are like, wow, they're really doing that. Like they don't know what's going to happen. Like there's nothing, like they have what looks like they don't have any foundation. Like, what are they doing? And these people will take a leap of faith. And, failing isn't a bad thing. Failing is how you grow. Struggling is how you grow. And that's the whole point of being a human as well, as learning these lessons in order to, move forward and strengthen your divinity or your personal power or your awareness, right? So you have these first adopters. And I would like to say that these people are like fifth dimensional beings, because they have this element of trust where they can move forward and do things that, they just feel it inside, and they trust enough, like in their self or like their guides or anything like that, where they could just go and like try this. So then you have the early adopters, which I would say is the fourth dimensional beings, which these people, they see that and they're like, wow, I see this work, or I see this person's, their motivation, their drive, and it's really inspiring me. So I'm going to do the same thing. And there might be like a little bit of evidence at this point, or like foundation, where they're just like, okay, I see how this works and this is a thing. So I'm down. It's still not 100% like worldwide believable, but it's, and I like to look at that as the work that I do. Because there are a lot of people out there that still think this stuff is taboo. Yeah, taboo. And they're just like, I don't understand how that works. And, you're wasting your time. And then there are a lot of people that like also don't understand how it works, but they're like, it works. I don't get it, but I've had experiences, or I've seen it work for other people. So then they have this feeling of wanting to do that. So why should we even care about this event? Why should we even care about waking up to our personal power? And that is a very heavy loaded question. So to make it pretty simple, and which is still going to be a lot, I feel, is to express that the earth is a living being. The earth is a part of us. Like I said, once again, this non-dualistic perspective, we are all one. So you have the earth also going through the same process of releasing karma and really increasing its vibrational frequency to reconnect with the higher source. So, personally, I believe in reincarnation. I believe that earth is a school, and we're here to learn and grow and move forward. And so in order to do that, you have to learn and grow and move forward. So you don't want to stay at the same stagnant energy. Staticness, or just, something not moving or not changing, is not really natural. The only thing that's stable or consistent is change. Everything's always changing. And that's from a science point of view as well. So for me personally, I believe in reincarnation. I believe that we are soul light beings, and that this body is a vehicle, and we are here using this body in this dimension, or these, dimensions, to learn lessons and to grow and move forward, and to obviously ascend back to source, or, go on to a different planet and learn a different lesson. So the whole point of this is to really increase your higher frequency so you can move on. And the new earth is, that is the new earth, the earth moving into higher frequencies of love and, just like really a higher consciousness. And this is really hard to just break down to one small sentence or two. So I apologize if it's a little confusing. But let's see, what else did I want to mention with the new earth? So, yeah, I mean, ultimately we're loving beings. A lot of people, feel on this planet, they don't like it. They don't feel like this is home. Um, it seems like also there's more to life or existence than, being here with this body and going through the day-to-day grind. And that's because that is truth. Like, really listen to your intuition, listen to what's going on inside, and really think about what your purpose is, or what, your ideal reality would be, and then focus on that. So I think that's all I wanted to talk about with this event. If you guys have any questions, reach out to me at uraniauniverse@yahoo.com. Also, you can follow me on Instagram. That's Urania_universe. And Urania is spelled URANIA. And I'll put all this stuff in the info for this video. And yeah, I do astrology readings. I do intuitive readings. And I also do channel readings from your higher self or any of your guides. I've been working really closely with Yeshua Ben Joseph, especially on this stuff. Like, he really, I had a meditation with him and Archangel Michael yesterday. And the biggest thing was like DNA activation, because I was like, what should I communicate? What's important? It was like the DNA activation, because it's, a lot of us are waking up and it's almost as if we don't, have a choice. And this is the thing, the DNA is activating, but you also have a choice on whether or not you want to, you have the free will to either address it or not. Like, you can know these things and choose to stay in the 3D reality, or you can move forward. But it's like these abilities are being activated because it's time. Like, we've been, in this third dimension reality, and then it's not serving us anymore. So we need to move forward, and we really need to come back and connect on, on a soulful level and a community-based level. Because at the end of the day, separation is not reality. It's an illusion. And we really are one. And that's why it doesn't feel good to be separated from, like when you have these like small groups, like you have race, you have sex, you have this, you have that. Like, what does this even mean? Like, we all bleed. We're all humans. We all have emotions and things of that nature. So this like idea of separation, it's an illusion. And my best friend, really, she says all the time, divide and conquer. Think about that. Divide and then conquer. The more you separate, the weaker you are, in a sense. So we want to come back together in strength. At this point in time, everyone's kind of awakening at their own, time. But that's weird noise. But it's, we're these beacons of light. People wake up, and then other people see that and they're like, oh, what are you doing? Like, what were you doing the other day? You were at a women's circle chanting and stuff, like, and now you're glowing. Like, what is this? What are you doing? Tell me, teach me, and it trickles down. So it's really important to connect with other people. And this is something that I've been working on because I am an introvert. So it is hard for me to step out of my comfort zone and really, talk to people. And I'm an empath too, very strongly. And so, I feel other people's, like, if they don't want to talk to me, I feel that. And then I don't want to bother people. And so it definitely, is hard for me to really jump out there and, just kind of penetrate people's, personal bubbles. But okay, I'm rambling. So with that in mind, I already gave you my information. You can check out my website, www.uraniauniverse.com. Instagram, I'm really active on there. Urania_universe or at Urania_universe. Email me, uraniauniverse@yahoo.com. Also, if you're in the Boulder, Denver, Colorado area, check out Luna Goddess Circle on my website. We have a women's circle there. We're also doing workshops, and we will be doing an online workshop as well. We are getting those started. So if you guys have any interest in that, or is there anything that you want to talk about or address, contact me and we can figure out, come up with a class for whatever ideas you guys have. But The time is now. So really start thinking about things and like, is this the way you want your life to be? And if it's not, we can change that. So I am so happy to share this information, and namaste, guys.